Good morning, virtual learners! I hope you're all doing great. Rest assured that we, your teachers, together with the city government of Valenzuela, are doing the best that we can to provide you quality education amidst this pandemic. This is the learning competency that we are targeting today. Employ the appropriate communicative styles for various situations: intimate, casual, conversational, consultative, and frozen. And these are the sub-skills that you need to acquire at the end of the lesson. Provide words or expressions from a given situation and give the appropriate communicative styles for various situations. This morning, we will be using the strategic, localized, and interactive intervention material prepared by Ma'am Maria Theda Dilim, a master teacher from Gente de Leon National High School, The Art of Persuasion. So, are you ready to listen? That's great. With that, we'll start the class by playing a game, but before anything else, let me ask you this question. Why are we all here, my dear students? Yes, if it is not because of COVID-19, we're probably inside our classrooms and doing some tasks. You know, this pandemic has been changing the lives of people, including the lives of youngsters like you. As a matter of fact, a lot of statistic reports have shown that we are at the peak of its impact. These days, the big question is, how can one be really safe from COVID-19? Do you have any idea? Let's find out. Let's put it in a game form. Welcome to our game show, and it's called Service Test. We actually interviewed a number of people and asked them that big question: how can one be really safe from COVID-19? And these people gave 5 top answers. Which do you think is the first in rank? Can you guess the second up to the last? Or how many of you can guess these top 5 answers? You may send in or write your answers in the comment box now, and let's find out who will ace this activity. Alright, I can see correct answers on the screen. Just keep going and let's find out if you can perfect this. Now, let us reveal the answers. Let's start with the last in rank, the 5th one. Maintain a healthy lifestyle. How many of you got this correctly? That is great. Looking after your physical and mental health during COVID-19 prevents you from acquiring the virus. Next, the 4th in rank is sanitize your hands using alcohol. Yes, the WHO confirmed that using hand sanitizers inactivate the virus that causes coronavirus. Did you get it? Very good. After that, let us reveal the 3rd in rank, and that is wash your hands frequently. You are right. This simple hand washing can really save us from being infected. Now, the 2nd is maintain social distancing. Great. Just a simple reminder, when going out in public, it is important to stay at least 6 feet away from other people to slow the spread of COVID-19. Now, we're down to the 1st in rank. What do you think is the top answer? Let us reveal it. Wear your mask. Great work! For everybody's information, masks reduce potential risk from infected persons whether they have symptoms or not. These are the top 5 answers according to the survey or the people we interviewed about this matter. Let us all read them aloud. Maintain a healthy lifestyle. Sanitize your hands using alcohol. Wash your hands frequently. Maintain social distancing. And wear your mask. Great job, and thank you for participating, grade 9 students. How many of you got them all correctly? You're really working hard today. Let us now focus on the sentences that we have right here. These sentences are indeed powerful. What do you think? Yes, they are. They actually encourage us to do these things during this time of pandemic. That is, if we want to be safe and stay alive. These expressions are examples of persuasive form of writing. A persuasive form of writing can also be called as a persuasive text. What is a persuasive text? It is any text where the main purpose is to present a point of view and seek to persuade or encourage the readers. Persuasive text can be written about any subject. For instance, you can write a persuasive text about your viewpoints on using cell phones in schools, wearing school uniforms, or even wearing a mask during this time of pandemic. Persuade is the root word of the word persuasive, which means to convince. For example, you've been hanging out with a group of friends and you decided you all want to go out for dinner. The trouble is, you are really in a mood for different kinds of food that night. One person wants pasta, another wants burger, and you really want Korean. Someone has to step up and convince the others. And you decided that that person is you. If you want to succeed, you really have to persuade your friends that Korean food is the best choice. This concept of persuasion works the same way in the form of writing. Others use persuasive writing to change the minds of the readers about a certain topic. In addition, persuasive writing is trying to convince others that your opinion is correct. Let us now define two important terms in writing a persuasive text. The first term is opinion. Opinion is a judgment, viewpoint, or statement that is not conclusive. Here are some examples of opinions. I believe that Valenzuela frontliners are the best in the world. I feel that the virus will soon be eradicated. And I believe that everyone is doing a great job. These sentences are all expressing opinions. As you notice, opinion words are used such as I believe and I feel. Also, they express the speaker's viewpoint on certain things. Another term to define is assertion. Assertion is when someone makes a statement investing a strong belief in it, as if it is true, though it may not be. He is making an assertion. Here are examples of assertions. If you don't finish the work in 3 weeks, I will hire another medical technologist. And I have given my best effort to deliver the relief goods, so you should recognize and appreciate it. So, why do you think we are discussing all these? Yes, definitely. In writing a persuasive text, it is important that you give your opinion or your assertion accordingly for you to better convince the readers about your point. Just a bit of reminders, my dear students. Giving opinions and assertions are very significant in writing a persuasive text, and its main point is to express your ideas freely. Always remember that there is power in persuasion. And don't forget our hashtag for today's lesson, hashtag phenomenal persuasion. However, be reminded that in expressing yourselves, avoid using hateful words that are intended to hurt people. Remember that you may disagree without being disagreeable. And now, here are the phrases that you may use in expressing your opinion or assertion. I think, I believe, for me or to me, in my opinion, I feel, in my eyes, to my mind, as far as I'm concerned. From my point of view, I would say that. I have the feeling that. And I have no doubt that. Now that you already know these things, let me discuss to you the structure of writing a persuasive text. It mainly has 3 parts: the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. When writing a persuasive text, you are forming an argument. Hence, you must present a logical argument to your readers and convince them to agree with your specific point. When writing a persuasive text, the first step is to select the subject. Then, you must choose your side of the argument that you are going to defend. For example, on the subject of wearing a mask, you will have to determine the points, the questions, and the stand you would take on those points. Like, what are the positive aspects of wearing a mask? Or what are the negative aspects of wearing a mask? And why is your point correct than the opposing one? You must understand the issue or the topic very well enough for you to construct an effective persuasive text. To do that, you must not only understand your own point of view, but you must also understand the opposite point of view. You may look at the arguments that others have made about your side of the issue. Also, look at the arguments of your opposing side. This is where research comes in. When writing a persuasive text, you are writing from a point of view of an expert. So, you will have to gain knowledge about the subject. The key to an effective persuasive text is to counter your opponent's points inside your composition. You may be asking how. You will need to know their arguments as well as your own. And once you fully understand the issue, you are now ready to start writing. The first thing that you need to conceptualize is the introduction. Your introduction paragraph should contain your thesis statement. In one well-written sentence, you want to let your readers know your point of view. The thesis statement is the most important part of your composition. You must include 3 main points in your thesis statement or your introduction. First, you must write about the subject. Next, mention why you are writing about the issue or the conflict. And lastly, include why your position on the issue is or your opinion or assertion. Don't forget, these statements need to be precise and clear. Let us go back to the topic of wearing a mask. Your thesis statement for wearing a mask should need to include the national or the local laws for wearing masks during a pandemic. That will work great as your subject. And for the conflict, it is ideal to include whether it should be a law or just a personal choice. And in the last part, in giving your opinion, you will give your stance that you believe that wearing a mask should be a law during this time of pandemic. Let us put these thoughts all together in one complete thesis statement. And this is how it goes. Wearing masks during COVID-19 should be mandated under the law in order to protect the people from catching the virus and spreading the disease. It is as simple as that. Do you want another example? Yes, I will give you another example of an effective thesis statement, but this time I'll be needing your help. Will you help me identify the best thesis statement in the given choices? Is it A, stop the virus by following protocols and staying at home, and that way it reduces our burden? B, lockdowns help minimize the effects of a pandemic? Or is it C, by ensuring zero or minimal movement and interaction of people, lockdowns help control the spread of a pandemic and also reduce the burden on a strained hospital and medical system? Which do you think is a good thesis statement among the 3 given choices? Let us all think about this. Letter A seems to be incomplete and somehow needs more specifications, so it's not letter A. While letter B is quite broad and very generic, it's also not letter B. So you are right. The correct answer is letter C because it is more specific, arguable, and it has a clear idea of what you want to persuade the readers about. As you can see, in one sentence, the thesis statement covers everything that you need to persuade readers in your text. From this thesis statement, readers have the clear idea of what you are going to discuss. And once you have crafted your thesis statement, follow up at least 3 sentences in your introduction paragraph. These sentences should include the key talking points that you will discuss in the preceding paragraphs. Going back to the mask example, these key points may include the national law or the local law on wearing masks, as I mentioned earlier, the need for safety, and include some statistics how these masks saves lives. Now we're done with crafting your introduction paragraph. Are you now ready to make the body of your text? Let's go. The body. The body of your paragraph must reflect the research you have done. The content of a persuasive text is very important. When writing a persuasive text, research is a key factor in creating an argument. In that case, you may research on wearing mask laws in the national capital region or local law. Take note, each point in your introduction paragraph must have its supporting research in the body of your text. Now, let us start crafting your final paragraph or the conclusion. The concluding paragraph is the last paragraph of your text. Conclusions in text should carefully construct arguments. The conclusions should restate the thesis statement and main points of interest, summarizing your argument for the readers. Write a conclusion that ties all your points together and convince the readers to agree with you. To make this topic clearer, I will show you an example of a persuasive text with an introduction paragraph, body, and conclusion. Read and analyze it with me. Are you ready? Let's start reading. Wearing a mask during COVID-19 should be mandated under the law in order to protect the people from catching the virus and spreading the disease. Wearing a mask saves lives. Why would you risk your life by going outside without wearing a mask during a pandemic? Face masks help prevent a person who is sick from spreading the virus, and it keeps respiratory droplets contained and from reaching people. Health experts say that the evidence is clear that wearing a mask can help prevent the spread of coronavirus. In that case, a study shows that upon wearing a mask, the daily growth rate slowed by 0.9 percentage points. A number of researchers claim that using a face mask reduces the number of infections. By projecting the trend, it has been calculated that now wearing a mask can infect over 66,000 people a day. Hence, infections were prevented by using a face mask in little over a month. Wearing a mask is now mandated all over Valenzuela City. Under the Wear Your Face Mask Ordinance Number 687, Series of 2020, individuals and residents and for non-residents traveling or visiting public places in Valenzuela City is now mandatory. Some may argue that this law costs people inconvenience, like it's their freedom of choice. You have the freedom to criticize the health authority, but make sure that you have a better idea on how to address the problem. Moreover, not wearing a mask has an economic effect to the other people around the community and not just your own safety. As such, the other people in the community as well as yourself are more important than your personal freedom of choice. It is as simple as ABC. Wear a mask and wash away this epidemic. Therefore, wearing a mask during COVID-19 should be mandated under the law in order to protect the people from catching the virus and spreading the disease. That is a complete example of a persuasive text. Can you identify the introduction paragraph? Good work! This is the introduction paragraph. Now, can you identify the thesis statement in the introduction paragraph? Exactly right. This thesis statement covers everything that you need to persuade readers in your text. What about identifying the body of your text? I'm proud of the way you worked today, right? These paragraphs support the arguments that the writer wants to persuade the readers about. Finally, can you identify the concluding paragraph in the text? Great! You are learning fast. As you notice, it sums up and ties all your points together. You did a great job, students. Aren't you proud of yourselves? Okay, some of you may be asking how you can make your text more convincing. First, you have to know your audience. Persuasive texts are usually for those who do not have strong opinion on the issue or the topic. By giving them benefits of your viewpoint, you are convincing them to believe in your stance and think that it is correct. Always remember, before writing, take a moment to step into the audience's shoes. And think about how the issue affects your readers' lives now and turn negativity into positivity that will put them into better situations. To sum up, please be reminded of the following key points in writing a persuasive text. First, for the introduction paragraph, you need to select a topic and write a thesis statement that displays your reasoning and research as part of your introduction. Next, the body of your text must explain the points that you will discuss in your body of paragraph. Use your body to elaborate the points in your introduction. And lastly, the conclusion must tie all your thoughts together and convince your readers to agree with you. Also, you have to be reminded of a persuasive text language features. First, it is usually written in present tense. Let us go back to our model text. As you notice, all the verbs used are in present tense, such as saves, helps, keeps, say, show, and produces. Second, it includes logical connectives to link ideas like therefore, however, and moreover. In our text, the connectives used are, in that case, hence, moreover, as such, and therefore. These connectives are imperative in writing any text to have a smooth flow of ideas. Third, it uses emotive language or powerful verbs and strong adjectives. Can you find the powerful verbs or emotive language used in the text? You really make my job fun. You are right. The highlighted parts of the text are the following. Fourth, it asks rhetorical questions or questions that are asked merely for effect with no answer expected. Can you find the rhetorical question used in the text? Perfect. And the fifth, it contains counter arguments from the other point of view. Try and use some facts as well as opinions. Can you locate the counter argument used in the text? Incredible job. We've been talking so much about a persuasive text. Now it is time for you to ask questions. As I've mentioned earlier, you may type in your queries in the comment box below and you will be given a minute to ask your questions, and our moderator will locate all your questions and will choose 5 of them to be addressed here live, and the rest of the questions will be sent to your class discussion teachers and they will be the ones to answer them. And your 1 minute starts now. Your time is up. I hope you are able to send in your questions. The first question is from Malanday National High School, and the question is, what is the purpose of the thesis statement? Good question. In a persuasive text, a thesis statement plays a significant part of the introduction paragraph, or the composition itself, as it gives the readers a clear idea of what you are about to discuss. So, this has to be precise and clear as it covers everything that you need to convince readers in your text. The second question is from Dalandana National High School. Can I write a persuasive text without an introduction, a body, or a conclusion? I think we should always consider following the proper structure in writing a persuasive text. Each part of the text has its conventional importance, contributing to the development of your composition. Following the right structure is actually the secret to good persuasive text writing. The next question is from Kanumay West National High School. Are researches really important in writing a persuasive text? Yes, researches are indeed vital in writing a persuasive text. It is actually imperative that you make some researches about your topic, and you must provide specific and convincing evidences that will support your opinion. The next question is from Valenzuela National High School, and the question is, how do authors share their opinion about a certain issue? Yes, giving one's opinion in writing a persuasive text is not as easy as what you think. It is not just about sharing their personal opinion or sharing the opinions of others that are similar to theirs. The authors must support their opinion through the use of facts and not just making up fictional information to trick the readers. And the last question is from Genti de Leon National High School, and the question is, what might happen if you do not consider the needs of your audience? That is a very good question. If you will not consider the needs of your audience and you will just write your persuasive text based on what and how you feel like doing it, the tendency is that your audience will be less likely to be engaged or be persuaded to believe in your stance. Thank you so much for sending in your questions. For you to better understand this topic, your next task is to visit your learning packets. Your first activity is entitled Which is Which. In that task, you will identify whether the given statements are opinions or assertions. The next activity is entitled The Chosen Feature. It will ask you to identify the features used in the given statements. Next, the third is entitled Convince Me First. It will ask you to convince people to stop discrimination against the frontliners. And to finally check your comprehension about this topic, you will answer test items in the evaluation card. I think that's it. Good luck, grade 9 students. Follow these steps and you will convince people to agree with your stance in no time. I hope you learned something new today. And many thanks to our technical support teacher and our teacher moderator for their contribution in making this learning engagement possible. This has been Teacher Wenny, and see you again next time for another episode of Virtual English Class, only here at Valenzuela Live, where distance is never a hindrance in learning. Stay home, stay safe, and have a good day. Bye!